No.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Zero Interest. We're doing Konosuba Season 2, Episode 3, Peace for the Master of this Labyrinth. Now, Casey.
Camera's wrong. There we go. Okay, so I forget how this one starts completely. It's just gone.
There's skipping out. It's Kazuma and Megumin skipping out and singing the Bakuretsu song.
Right, they explode things day after day after day after day. Because that's what they like to do, is explode things.
That's what Megumin does every day. Every day she has to explode something.
And every time they do an explosion, she says less of the word every time, to the point where she's just going, which... For a forceful grunt, it was adorable.
Yeah.
Okay. Eventually, Kazuma says he can't take it anymore, whatever that refers to. I don't actually know. Then the opening happens, and we come back, and he's like, we're going to go in a dungeon. And Megumin's like, no dungeons, I can't do anything in a dungeon. Because if she causes an explosion, then it's going to collapse it on them.
Yeah.
And he reminds her that, hey, remember right back at the beginning, after we, killed those frogs, and you were covered in slime and being carried on my back, and you were begging to join the party, and you said things like, I'll do whatever you need me to do, I'll carry your bags or whatever, and everything's fine. And she's like, I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah. It's like, oh.
Yeah. So basically, what they're planning is there's this really basic bitch dungeon for low-level adventurers that has been cleared out, pretty much picked clean, because, it doesn't respawn loot like it does in games. But there is a new path that someone has discovered, and they called in a few markers and managed to get first crack at it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to say Keith was the one that showed up.
Dust. That was Dust.
One of those two shows up and it's like, hey, you're talking about doing this new cool thing? I want to join in the new cool thing. And Kazuma's like, nope, and hands him a coupon for the succubus thingy.
Yeah. And he's like, it expires tonight. And he's like, I know. Good luck, my friend. And the guy, bounds off all happy, and Kazuma salutes. He's like, I can't have anyone getting in the way of this.
So, next scene is basically just them getting there to the place, and they explain the backstory of it. It used to belong to a wizard and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically.
Wizard or whatever.
Yeah, it's where he lived, and, he died a long time ago, and now the spirits of the dead are restless because basically people have been tromping around in his house for the past however long since he died.
Yeah. And now Cosmo explains he got those new skills that I was talking about before.
Yeah. Also, there's a kitty.
Yeah. You really like the kitty.
I like cats. Gay. Shut up. Kitty.
I like cats, too.
So Cosmo basically says, I'm going to go in first and scout it out, and he does, and it shows off some of his skills. Like it says, he has lurk, and I want to say it's called foresight, but that's a dumb name for it. Basically, night vision.
Yeah, and also enemy detection.
Yeah. So he's a passable scout at this point.
Yeah, he's kind of specking into the thief class.
A little bit, yeah. Which surely he'd just switch to the thief class at this point. Oh, no, whatever. So he's walking down the stairs, and then it pans out or zooms out, and Aqua's there following him.
Yeah.
her reasoning is basically, I'm super awesome and I'm a goddess and everything. Remember how I'm a goddess? I'm a goddess and I'm so amazing. And I'm like,
She's, to be specific, what she's saying is, come on, don't you remember my class? And he's like, you dead goddess. And he's like, no, 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 water goddess, water goddess.
Hmm.
And she's here because A, it's a dungeon filled with tons of undead, and B, she can see in the dark because she's a goddess.
And also because his lurk skill won't actually work on undead.
Yeah.
So she's basically following him down there. And they come across a monster, and Cosma does like a hand signal. It's basically just, let's go back. And she's like, what are you doing? Are you doing shadow puppets? Get rid of this fucking bunny rabbit crap. I'm going to show you a fucking destroyer, which, now that I think about it, is absolutely a callback to that fucking episode where they were doing shadow puppets and she was doing the destroyer shadow puppet somehow.
Yeah. They were like, back when with the feast with all the crab and everything.
Yep. It's a good callback, actually.
There is a cut to Mega Man, and she's being like, my rage, my madness, when she's like practicing her like speeches that she gives with the kitty.
Yeah, with the kitty. So it cuts back, and they have killed the monster, and Aqua explains it's a gremlin, which is a low-level demon that you'd sometimes find in dungeons like these. Sure, okay. And they go further in and find the secret tunnel, and she
a little bit out of order. They found the secret tunnel, and then they found the monster.
Oh, right, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And slightly before that, Cosmo said, I'm really thinking about ditching you down here, because they're kind of going back and forth. If you're scared, no, you're scared. It's like, I'm wondering how plausible it would be to just ditch you down here. And she's like, oh, Cosmo, you're such a kidder. He's like, you should know, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah. So, that's actually kind of a real asshole move. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of say when you're actually genuinely not kidding. And it's basically saying, fuck you, I hate your guts so much. I literally detest your very existence, is the kind of thing you're actually saying when you're saying, no, I'm not kidding. Like, that's
that they have a very antagonistic relationship, but considering what happens later, I wouldn't say he's like completely serious on that.
Yeah, but it's a misstep to have your character say, no, I'm not kidding, I would absolutely fucking abandon you at the drop of a hat.
He's not saying it like that, but...
He's not saying it like that, but he's still saying that, and that's the point. He's saying he's not kidding, which you don't say unless you're not kidding, is my point. So...
yeah, fight the monster.
Yeah.
And
it's the drama requires clarity thing again, just to point out.
Yeah.
So they fight the monster, kill it, and they keep going, and then she starts randomly purifying undead. Let me do the summary, goddammit.
You missed the part where she's like, I could see the dark completely clearly. It's like, so all those times when back at the stables when you heard me rustling around, she's like, yeah, I turned around, I didn't look, I just went to sleep. Why? He's like, thank you, Aqua-sama. That face.
Yeah, the face was good. The comment was a little weird. Like, thank you so much, great lady, for not watching me masturbate. Okay. So she starts randomly purifying undead, and Cosma is weirded out by this. Like, why is she doing this and suddenly being kind of respectable?
Yeah, this is the goddess you could bring out in public and not be embarrassed about.
Yeah, which... valid question. Why is she suddenly being, respectable when she was intolerable for the entire season before this? And they don't actually particularly answer that question at any point during this episode, but
it's she may be annoying and kind of selfish, but when it comes to actually doing her job, she's pretty serious about it most of the time. Like, when it comes to sending souls to the other life, she tends to take it more seriously than everything else. The exception being Cosma, because she
I
found
was gonna
Cosma's whole
say.
situation hilarious.
Like, literally, our
But
first introduction to her doing her job was
Yeah.
her being completely irreverent and not giving a shit. But, first impressions and
But
all that.
yeah, but most of the time, in pretty much any other situation where she has to purify undead, she tends to be more respectful. Like we saw last season when it came to that girl who was the ghost, as she stood out there and she found out everything about that ghost, and she then, purified the ghost. Like she does care about the spirits of people.
Mm.
It just doesn't show as much.
Yeah, that might be a case of not planning ahead. Like, that was a difference of a book. Like, they released the first book where she's just kind of a bitch and completely flippant about doing her job, which is the first one. And then they release a book where she's not, and she takes it very, very seriously, which I think is a side effect of, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to write a second book.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, that is her character from now on, I guess, is she takes that part of doing her actual job very seriously and is actually kind of invested in doing it properly. So, okay, I'll take that as gospel as her character from now on. So yeah, they basically run across a hell of a lot of undead and search the dungeon for stuff and don't really find much.
They find a mimic.
Yeah, they do find a mimic, and Aqua is enamored by it immediately until Cosmo pulls her back and is like, no.
That's in a really obvious place.
Yeah. It is literally the Sword Art Online trap. That's literally what it is. So he throws a rock, and it's basically like the wall grows jaws. And
Yeah.
I'm sure the rock was delicious. Yeah. I think at this point we cut back to Megumin, who is still practicing her casting without actually casting it. And she does the whole speech and explosion and points it at the cat, and the cat meow.
Yeah.
I love that cat. That cat's fucking awesome. It's the best thing about the show. Why wasn't it in the first season?
It should have been. That's part of the reason why season one's not a good adaptation, because Megumin is literally introduced with this cat, and it's been gone, and not for no reason really, and it's upsetting.
Yes, I like cats that much that I'm doing anime exclamations of.
There is a quick cut to darkness where it becomes more obvious that they are forcing her into something.
It's taking them a long fucking time to get her in that dress, I swear. Like, literally, it's been like a week, at least.
You're not wrong, but that also kind of makes it funnier.
Yeah. Like, yeah, without that context, that would have just been kind of pointless. But yeah, yeah. So we cut back to the dungeon, and they find the final chamber of this new route, and there's a dude in it, and he's spooky looking. And
Keel.
Yeah, his name is Keel. He was the archwizard that founded a university in the Midlands. Yeah, I've made this joke during the episode and then immediately realized Zero would not in any way get it because it's an English university.
Yale University.
Yes.
Oh, I see now.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's spelled the same way as well, which is why I pulled
it
out
is.
Immediately. So it turns out this guy's actually a decent dude, despite being an undead lich, who tells his entire backstory is basically this girl was about to get married for a political marriage, and he was like, "Nah, son, I'm gonna take her and we're gonna live happily ever after," and basically got hunted by the nobility for the rest of their lives, kind of thing.
To be specific, she was married for political purposes.
Oh, okay.
And she was being mistreated because it was just a political marriage. And he was in love with her, and he was he was a hero, and he got granted one wish, and he chose that wish for her. And then he eventually just ran away with her because they wouldn't grant that, and he protected her all the way up until they got to this dungeon.
Yeah, and yeah, he became a lich so he could protect her and so she could die peacefully in her dying days. And yeah, now he's just kind of stuck as a lich because undead apparently can't kill themselves, which I guess makes sense.
Yeah,
it's
he
kind of
needs
an
to be
innate thing
purified.
that you know, very specifically don't want to die, so you make yourself undead to avoid dying. You can't suddenly turn around and say, "Oh, I want to die now. I'm cool with it." That's not how it works. I guess that makes sense. Actually, thinking about it.
So he's kind of been hibernating until Aqua's whole bunch of holy magic kind of woke him up.
He was just kind of hoping to rot away until that point.
Yeah, and so Aqua decides to just kind of be like, okay, sure, I can pass you guys on.
Yeah,
And
this your wife died in peace, so she's fine. But I'm gonna have to actually purify you properly and do a whole ritual and stuff for it. And she does, and it's actually a very nice moment.
And she's like, when you see a goddess named Eris with an overly sized chest,
with an unrealistically sized chest.
Yeah. You can talk to her, and if you're fine with not worrying about age or like male or female, you can request to be able to meet with your beloved again. And yeah, it's a touching moment.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, I guess that's where the more redeemable aspects of Aqua's character comes from, is that she can be kind of respectful towards people and actually play her role correctly. But we didn't get that in the first season. Not nearly as much.
She can be respectful to the dying and basically nobody else.
Yeah, I guess. And she does care about her specific followers a lot as well. But like, she tends to otherwise be kind of selfish.
Yeah, so they do that, and then Kazuma voices his suspicions about how this whole thing went down. Oh, and they take the treasure as well. Then the guy leaves him. And he's like, so he got woken up by, your sacred powers and stuff, right? And we've been hounded by undead for this entire trip through this dungeon, right? Which means the undead can sense you, right?
Right. And she stops. No. That's not likely.
And then we hear and sort of kind of see in the shadows an army of undead sort of just coming out of the woodwork. And she's like, no, don't worry about it. It's not a big thing. Let's just get back outside. And he just goes, look. And he's out. Shadow, it's great.
And she's like, Cosmo, where'd you go? Please use it on me too. And then you see him, and he's just like back against the pillar. He's just like, But it's a fun little scene. And then we cut back to Mega Man, and she's like, what went down in there? And Aqua's crying, and Cosmo's staying there, and like he did actually take her out, and like he didn't leave her behind. He brought her out with him, but he kind of made her kind of pay for a little bit of the crap she put him through.
Yeah, and then we move on to the guild, and they have food, which they didn't have in the original scene in the guild. That was a big deal that they just had water and they were hungry. We didn't mention that, but yeah, that was the thing.
They didn't have much food.
They didn't have any. They just had glasses of water. Yeah, and they basically have a feast on the table now, and everyone's drinking beer. I'm going to say beer.
It's alcohol.
Yeah. And Mega Man's like, yeah. And Cosmo snatches it out of her hand, because, of course.
She's too young.
Yeah. And yeah, they're basically discussing, this doesn't really cover all of our debt, but, it's a step forward. And Cosmo goes over to receptionist and hands her a drink and says, "This is a thank you for, giving us first crack at that dungeon and stuff. Thanks." And Dickhead shows up and basically says, "Yeah, free drinks. Everyone gets, drinks on Kazuma," because he's a dickhead, and says that for him, and basically puts him in a position where he can't say no. Just kind of an arsehole move. I hate that guy.
Yeah,
because he's a douche.
He is. And he's a douche, but he's Kazuma's douchey friend, if that makes sense.
I miss Guy. Can we get Guy back? We haven't seen him since the first episode.
Nope. Yeah. He does make appearances, but Artisan Weaver. Not even adventurer. Alright, so yeah,
they should go to
they're having
get like sweaters or something. They keep bitching about the cold.
He'd probably give them a discount now that you think about it.
Get some fucking winter clothes, you motherfuckers. What's wrong with you?
But he's an anime-only character, so there's not much he can really do other than just kind of show up and say cool things.
Then give them winter clothes so they stop bitching about the cold.
Anyways, so they start partying and everything, and everybody's doing their party tricks, and they're like, "Cosmo, steal!" And they're holding out like a little towel. He's like, "All right."
Technically, they say do the thing, but yes.
Yeah, do the thing. It's like, yeah, I'll do the thing. And he does it, and then Chris walks in, and she's like, "I heard Cosmo's getting free drinks," and then it hits her, and then kind of repeat from first season.
Yeah, it's basically just redoing the whole thing from the first season. On the one hand, it's really creepy that an entire crowd is basically demanding that he steals a woman's knickers against her will. On the other hand, she's also just showing up so that she can take advantage of his generosity.
And they're also all drunk. So... Union shows up and challenges Mega into a duel with beer.
With beer, yeah.
And then the douchey friend gets knocked away because he was trying to do a drunken steal on the waitresses.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets thrown through the beer and stuff, so they can't drink any, just out of happenstance. And Cosmo's like, "Yeah, this is probably not helping us actually pay our debts at all by buying drinks for literally everyone in this place all night, apparently. Thanks, Aqua. But I kind of feel like an adventurer again, so
yeah, I'm having fun now." And then it cuts immediately to Aqua throwing up rainbows, and he's like, "No, I'm not." Yeah. So, thoughts, Casey?
That first episode really kind of put a damper on Aqua's character going forward. That first episode. The very first episode. Because now I have to mentally retcon that entire thing out of existence so that I can make a character make sense now.
I've seen other series where they have a certain type of character appear in the first volume, and they realize I went too far with this character in this one direction. I need to pull it back if I'm going to actually continue the series. Yeah. And that's kind of what had to happen with Aqua, because she really didn't leave a good impression in a lot of regards.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why she's better in the second season, is because they pay more attention to her as a character rather than the annoying, whining character that doesn't really do much. So
they gave her ways to contribute and be less of a pest, basically. That's all she was in the first season, seemingly, was just kind of there to annoy people and get in the way. And yeah, they've stopped doing that so much in this season, and that's kind of nice.
In the first episode of the second season, she wasn't as annoying. She had her funny parts.
She was funny, and she was trying to help, and she wasn't really getting in the way as much as just not being particularly effective.
And that's kind of her in this episode, too. She's trying to help, but she's kind of causes trouble as much as she helps.
Well, she does make a good point that the undead would still have been there, even if she wasn't.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have had a way to defend himself from them. So, yeah, she did actually probably help more than she hindered, in this sense. And obviously, they wouldn't have been able to do a damn thing with Keel.
Yeah. And Magma wouldn't have been any help. Darkness would have made a good wall, but she still can't hit anything.
So, yeah. Good episode. Good character developing and retconning, but developing episode. I'm glad of this one.
Even RWBY had to retcon some things.
It didn't have to, but it wanted to because they really liked that one character for some reason.
Yeah. I feel like this was a necessary retcon, though, for us
to absolutely was. Yes, I agree with you. This was needed. So I can't complain about a retcon in this instance. Sorry, I completely cut you off while you were making a point.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So, this point in the show, are you willing to update your ranking at all from 7 out of 10?
I think I'm still at a 7. Like, 7's a good score. 7's a good number to be at. Like,
it's not blown you away yet, but it's still
not blowing
pretty
me away,
decent.
but it's not hurting itself in any way either. It's keeping pretty solid, and that's a good thing. Like, we started these ratings at a very, very high point in the show. No, we didn't. We started things at a very low point in the show.
Yeah, we started
and then it immediately got way better.
Yeah, it was at a 3 at one point because
it started at 3 and then went to 7 and pretty much not gone anywhere from 7. Which is, like I say, it's a good thing.
Yeah. This kind of a lot of the comedy in this show, just I find hilarious, and I really like the characters. I read the light novels, so I kind of have more insight into the characters because there are multiple character arcs for these people that we're not going to get because they're not going to make a third season. But this show ends literally before a whole humongous Mega Man arc. But it's a bit upsetting. So, Oh well. I enjoy this show, and I hope you guys do too. And we'll see you guys next time with Konosuba Season 2, Episode 4, Zero Interest.
One of these days, I'm just going to cut you off in the middle of that weird thing you're doing, and it's just going to stop there. That's what's going to happen.
That makes me sad. I'm having so much fun. Bye, everybody.
Is it like a Dempsey roll thing you're trying to do? So just back and forth.
No, I have a spinny chair, and I'm having fun.
Are you going to upgrade it eventually and start going down as well?
Can I? No, it's not going down.
Oh.
I think it might go up, though. Anyways, bye now.
Bye, everybody.